Oh, hi there. Phones are distracting. I mean, they're literally designed to grab as much of our attention as they possibly can. And this level of distraction means that it's hard to maintain the focus that's required to develop meaningful relationships and to do meaningful work. And the challenge is that we oftentimes don't realize just how distracting they've become or how much of an impact they're having. And to be honest, this isn't something that I had a real appreciation for until recently. So I thought I would go looking for some strategies to try and eliminate just how often and for how long my phone intrudes into my life. Now, if there's one person who I know who never gets distracted by her phone, that's my mother-in-law. So I thought I would give her a call to see just how she does it. So, never take your phone with you and don't charge it so it's always dead. And that works every time. Okay, thanks. Bye. Well, I don't really think that never using our phones is the right answer or even the necessary one for many of us, because there's a lot that we can do to set up our phones to make them less distracting. And in this video, I'm going to cover 5 of those tips. Now, one caveat is that all this is centered around iPhones because that's all I've really ever used, but I'm sure a lot of it is also applicable to Android. So let's jump in. The first step is to make sure that our phones don't try and get our attention in the first place. We don't want it to make a noise or light up unless it's absolutely necessary. We want it to remain this lifeless piece of tech until we choose to engage with it. Because if it makes a sound or grabs our attention, it's going to distract us. And our minds take around 25 minutes to refocus after an interruption. So if our phones are notifying us more frequently than every 25 minutes, that means that we're never able to focus on anything. Tip number 1, turn off all notifications except the ones that you actually want to be interrupted by. Just go ahead, turn them off. You will not believe how much of a difference this makes. You will feel so much more freer without those little nudges. Even if you think those notifications don't bother you, I suggest giving it a try. It is amazing the difference it actually makes. Tip number 2, set your home screen to be a plain black background. That way it's less appealing and therefore less likely to grab your attention. A black screen says that there's nothing interesting going on here, just move right along. This works well when you pair it with disabling the raise to wake function. We want each time the screen comes on to be because we choose it to, not because we happen to move the phone in a certain way. Tip number 3 helps us out when we already have the phone in our hand so that we can get in and out of this dangerous territory without being pulled down the rabbit hole. If you know an app causes you to waste time with it, simply delete it from your phone. Get it out of there. You can't be distracted by what isn't on your phone. If you find yourself being pulled to those apps every single time, just out of habit, then to break it, you need to increase the friction. If you needed to download Twitter every time you wanted to go in and take a look, I guarantee you that you will do it less often. Or a less extreme version, instead of deleting it, you can organize your screen so that it takes more swipes and clicks to get to those apps by putting them on the second or third screens. You can even bury them deeper in the folders just to further increase that friction to using them. So the last set of tips is all about limiting the amount of time that we spend after we've gotten sucked in. And if we want to limit the amount of time, then we need to have an appreciation for just how much time we're actually spending on our phones. So tip number 4 is to install the screen time widget on your home screen. That way you can always be confronted with the facts of the matter. We have a tendency to grossly underestimate how much time we're actually spending. I mean, you can test this for yourself. Just guess how long you've been spending on average each day for the last week, and then go and check for yourself to see how close you came. Even with the screen time widget, all it does is raise our awareness about how long we're using our phones for, and hopefully that influences us to spend less time. However, if you want to opt for something more concrete, then you can go with our last tip, and that's to add limits for specific apps so that you get booted out from them when you hit a certain target that you don't want to go over. That's especially useful for apps that you find the time just starts ticking away without you even realizing it. Thanks everyone for watching. Hopefully you found something useful in this video that you can implement for yourself. And let me know down in the comments below if you have any other tips to make your phone less of a distraction. I would love to hear about them. See you all next time.